This is a pinch me moment for me because it is less than 2 years since I entered the world of social media.
This is the reality. There's too many things, there's too many problems to flow through old processes and expect to get things out the other side. Everybody is responsible for creativity. At Big Spaceship, I say creativity is not a vocation, it's an obligation. If you're not creative, you can't work at Big Spaceship, regardless of what you'll be doing when you get there.
Understood the language and the choices that we could make, but they were smart and clever, and I think it's funny and sex was funny. It was heartbreaking. It was embarrassing. It was intimate. It was public. It was, disappointing. It was thrilling, and you could talk about that. But the titillating part, I think, you can't hang your hat on. I think underneath what was provocative and titillating and controversial was a story about a woman's search for home.
People will pay whatever is required for technology if it does what they want, if it answers the needs of society, and they'll pay nothing, not a cent, if the opposite is true and it doesn't. Remember, 1983, people paid $800 for a VCR.
As creatives, it's a hard thing to push, to make something that you're truly excited about, especially if you've written 100 different concepts and they keep getting shut down. But I mean, I think if there's any clients in the room, I think that, be willing to get fired on a good idea. That's like, I think that's what the world needs. And
So I think the next decade is going to be very interesting. We're going to be used to mobility, it's going to be ubiquitous, but also I think things are going to start talking to each other. And that's going to be very fascinating because that's going to create a whole new field of innovation, a whole new basis to create even more innovation.
It's not that traditional digital advertising isn't working, it is. It's that native advertising often brands a better opportunity and offers users a better experience.
I'm addicted to cognitive ecstasy. I'm addicted to that moment in which you appreciate, you have an ontological awakening when you realize what's right in front of you, what was right under your nose, and you failed to notice it. So I made it my mission to try to popularize these ideas, these things that were talked about at TED conferences, or in the halls of Google or IBM or Intel. How do you explain Moore's Law? How do you explain the implications of exponential change? How do you explain to people that a young person with a smartphone in Africa today has better communications technology than the US president had 25 years ago?
That means that starting on the playground, we start telling girls not to lead. So this weekend, when you see a little girl called Bossy, and you will, you walk up to those people, even if they're her parents, with a big smile, and you say, that little girl's not bossy. That little girl has executive leadership skills. Can I pause on this for 1 minute? Because this is such a good, I think, interesting point. The sentence, that little girl has executive leadership skills, will get any group of people to laugh anywhere in the world because it's funny. Now try as a man, that little boy has executive leadership skills. There's no humor. That's the problem.
I also think it's fascinating in a world of globalization that we find that there's still demand and desire for something local, and I think that's probably something advertisers, creative directors think about, and if they shouldn't, maybe they might want to, because I think that a conversation and culture, a local conversation or a local culture isn't disappearing necessarily because we have a world that's more connected.
At Beats, ideas win. So that's a really interesting dynamic with the agency because they have ideas and we have ideas. My bosses have ideas, LeBron has ideas, Pharrell has ideas. But what always wins in a room is who has the best idea. Not the most senior creative, not me. It could be our most junior writer on the team. If she has an idea that's based in truth, really strong insight, a unique way of bringing it to consumers, we go with it.
And I just want to leave you with a photo of Earth, and that dot is Earth behind Saturn. Just a humbling image that every astrophysicist carries with them. When you think about the world, we try to think more globally. You rise up and say, I'm at a higher point now in my thinking. Now I look back and I see solutions that were not otherwise available to me because my point of view is higher. My point of view is stratospheric. In my field, that's all we do, is rise up as high as we can, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually. Then you come back to the problem and say, hey, here's how you solve that. Here's the path we now take. So I would want you to keep this vision, modern vision of the pale blue dot, in your heart as you say to yourself, what next problems await my ingenuity?
Now, the importance of the commercial was that it precipitated probably $5 to $6 billion worth of revenue.
You know, I've been around a long time and I've heard lots of these things over the years. Somebody discovers some new thing and everybody runs after it, and they've done that, and they, oh, this is the answer, and we're going to test ads with sweaty palms, and then we're going to measure eyeballs, and we're going to do this, and now we've invented big data. It's no longer data. I mean, data has always been important. We always do. We always understood, you know, that's called consumer knowledge. You know, you go out and you kind of know what people are doing. The idea that, you know, this is going to be the solution to everything and it will give you the answer is just, is bullshit.
There's not enough ad dollars in the world to pay your way into the promised land of the golden age of advertising, this new golden age of ideas. And simply mastering the tricks of the latest technology is not going to get us there. The only way to get there is with creative ideas that are so insightful, so relevant, and so big, they break out of the confines of the paid world and they earn their way into people's hearts, minds, and lives.